Recently we spoke about the creation of the vampires, their enslavement under the Lord of Undeath Nagash, and their eventual freedom when Nagash was defeated against the living of Nehekhara. I mentioned that each of the first vampires eventually went to found their own bloodline, and today we're going to look at one of them. Queen Neferata was as intelligent as she was beautiful. Many would argue that her mind was sharper than any others. It was a shame that she, being a woman, was not allowed to join the mortuary cult due to ancient Nehekharan traditions. However, a time would come where a dark worshipper of Nagash, known as Wersaran, would come to Lahmian and drastically change history. He saw great promise in the young beauty, knowing full well that she and the women who followed her would be tempted into darker forms of magic after being spurned by the patriarchal Nehekharans. Neferata took to necromancy with little trouble, and in truth she excelled at it, eventually co-creating a darker version of Nagash's elixir of life and creating the first vampires, herself included. She, like the rest of the Firstborn, gathered supporters as she ruled over Lahmian with a bloody nature. She brought together a terrifying coven of only the most beautiful and talented women who were later to be corrupted into vampirism. This bloodline mostly consists of female vampires, and males are extremely rare, with Neferata preferring the intelligence and grace of women to be of her blood rather than those of the clumsy and ambitious men. When Lahmian fell many moons ago, the Deathless Queen and her sisterhood survived, escaping into the vast reaches of the Warhammer world, leaving agents wherever they roamed. It is said that the Lahmian bloodline has a complex system of spies in almost every major city of humanity, feeding information back to their Dark Queen. From Bretonia to Kislev, Araby to Nippon, wherever humans had settled, it was certain that creatures from Lahmian were right there, hidden in plain sight. Neferata has always kept a watchful eye on her agents, for sometimes their ambitions far exceed that of their queen, and should they work towards empowering their influence, they would find themselves quickly killed. Many believe that Lahmians are completely loyal to their sire, but that is far from the case. Neferata has set upon them rules that some of these deathless monsters simply cannot adhere to, such as Neferata forbidding them to take up a lover other than those to further her own devices. We know of vampires falling in love with mortals. In fact, while rare, it still happens, and the Lahmians have often fallen for those they were influencing. In truth, the Lahmians have seen to the fall of many kingdoms, even those of fellow vampires, such as the Strigos Empire, who had no right to exist, let alone be vampires in their own right. The Lahmians have caused much strife throughout the known world, often causing conflict within empires which have many different faiths in an effort to weaken them from within and cause civil wars. Those of the Lahmian bloodline are known to be very actively living within humanity, often controlling the human cattle through positions of power. They are seen as noble women whom often leave only at night, as can be expected. Yet the foolish mortals are blinded by their beauty to notice what monsters they truly are. So long as they avoid sunlight, they remain undetected, and rather interestingly enough, while holy places blessed against undeath does affect them, it does so at a much weaker rate, allowing for Lahmians to enter temples and shrines at least for a small while. Lahmians are smarter than most general vampires, mostly feeding upon people who are directly under their influence instead of the greater populace. These servants are often love-struck by these beautiful vampires, and would do anything, even risk death itself, to gain even a fraction of attention from them. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our lore video. Unfortunately, these bloodlines lost a lot of lore as the additions came forth and so on. It's a bit of a shame, but you'll be happy to know that the next bloodline I will cover will be the Von Carsteins. So we are going to be up for a massive video explaining how they came to be, what they did, so on, and possibly go into the Vampire Wars. But moving on, if you did enjoy the video, I might suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. Once again, thank you so much, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.